Hey guys, it's me, Cupid. I have schizophrenia. Um, Sorry, my cat's climbing behind the camera right now. All right. Today I wanted to talk about fun facts about schizophrenia. I know I did this yesterday. I had a few more facts to give you guys that you may not know already, and some of you may know them, but I found some interesting things that surround those facts that you may not have known. So let's get right into it. Scooby-Doo, what are you doing? Scooby. Hey. Alright, let's let the cat play, I guess. Not much I can do about it. Alright, I know people already know this fact, and I understand and respect that. I did find some interesting stuff that you may not know. Schizophrenia is not the same thing as bipolar disorder or dissociative identity disorder. So the word schizophrenia came from the Greek word schizen. I'm going to put that word down below because I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Meaning to split. And phren, which translates to mind. The Oxford English Dictionary explains, but this literal meaning can cause confusion, so people may conflate schizophrenia with the bipolar disorder or dissociative identity disorder. There are also differences between schizophrenia and dissociative identity disorder. People with dissociative identity disorder alternate between multiple identities and may feel like there are many voices inside their head vying for control. While schizophrenia can also cause delusions and hallucinations, they don't necessarily revolve around various personalities the way they do with DID. Here's another way to think of it. If it helps, the split in schizophrenia refers to a split from reality during times of psychosis, not a split in identities or split between extremely high and low moods. So hopefully that helps you guys identify. I'm sure you guys didn't know that schizen, whatever, means split, and that phren means mind. Kind of interesting stuff. People who have schizophrenia may be at a higher risk of other health issues, including premature death. I know that you guys probably already know this. People with schizophrenia, it is common for people to die young. Let me get into some more information about that, but I think that you guys may already know this. I don't know. But the reason being is that we don't pay attention to our health issues. We're too focused on the other things that are happening, and some people get suicidal, depressed. There's a lot of other things. I'm going to go through it because it's going to talk about that, but I think that you guys may already know this. Individuals with schizophrenia can be more vulnerable to issues such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and smoking-related lung disease, which notes that underdetection and undertreatment of these conditions in those with schizophrenia can lead to death. People with schizophrenia are also more likely to die by suicide. Due to these factors, people living with schizophrenia are unfortunately at a higher overall risk of premature mortality, dying at an earlier age, than the general population, according to NIMH. All right. So people may already know this, but I did not know this other fact about it. Not knowing you have the condition. I know that people may know this already, like I said, but it is true that people with schizophrenia have that early onset. It appears, but it doesn't show, I should say. It appears, but it doesn't show in the way it needs to for a long time. It kind of creeps up. It slowly builds and builds and builds until eventually it explodes, and that's when everyone notices that you have it, including yourself, if you notice. Many people who suffer from schizophrenia have what's called anosognosia. I'm going to put that word down below. anosognosia, which literally means to not know a disease. Basically, they aren't aware they have a mental condition at all. Very interesting, right? So another one is abnormal fingerprints. Sorry, abnormal fingerprints. Ranking in among the wilder manifestations of schizophrenia are abnormal fingerprints. In some patients, it has to do with the shape and the number of whirls and loops. Dr. Margolis says, fingerprints begin to develop at the same time the brain is beginning to take shape in utero. And there's a developmental biological link between the skin and brain. All right, I thought that was very interesting. I did not know that. So people with schizophrenia have unique fingerprints. I mean, I think we all have unique fingerprints. It's just kind of interesting that, oh, we have abnormal. That's what it was, not unique. We all have unique fingerprints. I'm sure you already know this. Can't discern between two simultaneous touches. According to studies, people with schizophrenia have a weakened sense of body ownership. Here's how they tested it. There's something called the rubber hand illusion, where if your hand is hidden out of your sight, but there is a rubber hand in front of you, and both your real hand and the rubber hand are stroked with a paintbrush, you start to feel like the rubber hand is a part of you. But if you have schizophrenia, you're even more susceptible to the experiment and less likely to learn over time that the rubber hand is in fact not yours. Researchers speculate it relates to the higher order cognitive functions impaired in schizophrenia. On the bright side, they also believe movement therapy like yoga and dance, which trains people to focus on their own bodies and stay centered, could help. All right, very interesting stuff. So this one you guys may already know, but I thought I would go over it. There are positive and negative symptoms of schizophrenia. There's also cognitive symptoms. So we're going to talk about those. So when Paul Eugen Bleuler coined the term, he also came up with a list of positive, negative, and cognitive symptoms of the disorder. Positive and negative in this case doesn't mean good and bad. Positive is used to describe the characteristics of schizophrenia that shouldn't occur in a healthy person, like paranoid thoughts and hallucinations. Symptoms that fall under the negative label include healthy traits that are missing from patients, like motivation, interest in life, and coherent speech. The last category, cognitive symptoms, covers disorganized thinking, gaps in memory, and other signs of mental dysfunction. Doctors still use the system devised by Bleuler to treat patients today. So I found this out while doing some research a while back. I did not know when I was diagnosed that there was positive, negative, and cognitive symptoms. I don't think that's something that your doctor necessarily talks to you about. And even when I did find out that there was positive, negative, and cognitive symptoms, I didn't know what that meant. So I thought that it was very interesting to share with you guys what that meant. So this is another one that I'm sure people know, but I thought I'd go over it as well. Hollywood fuels misconceptions about schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is one of the most stigmatized mental illnesses, and that's largely due to its portrayal in entertainment. When researchers looked at 41 movies featuring schizophrenic characters for a study published in 2012, they found that 83% of them were depicted as dangerous to themselves or others. A third engaged in homicidal acts. In reality, violence is uncommon among people with schizophrenia, and someone with this disorder is by no means destined to be a criminal. Struggles that are much more common for schizophrenic people, such as negative symptoms like depressed feelings and unexpressive speech, are rarely seen on screen. So I'm sure you guys already know that we are depicted in the world as horrible, dangerous, vicious people. When in reality we're not. I just thought that was very interesting that they did a study to prove this fact in Hollywood or about Hollywood. So I thought that was kind of awesome. I wish that it was depicted more real, more in reality. It's funny that people with schizophrenia have an issue with reality, and of course our reality is that we don't have the right reality out in the world about us. So, all right, so other mental illnesses are related to schizophrenia. Maybe something you guys already know as well, but I thought that I would go over it. Schizophrenic patients are at a greater risk for a slew of different mental illnesses. Rates of depression, anxiety, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder are all higher among people with schizophrenia. Symptoms of schizophrenia can overlap with these disorders. Suicidal thoughts and a lack of motivation and interest in life are schizophrenic symptoms that are also hallmarks of depression. So things that we have are already under other umbrellas, if that makes sense. So they overlap in symptoms. So we could be diagnosed with other things, which has happened. I know to many people with schizophrenia, they don't know what you have at first, especially if you don't think you have something wrong with you, or you don't think that you're in a different reality. It's hard to diagnose someone with schizophrenia as being schizophrenic when they don't know how to talk about it. I know it took, I've talked about this before, it took my doctors about 5 years, no, longer than that. It was 8 years, I think, to finally diagnose me with schizophrenia. Might have been a little bit less than that, but it was around that number. I remember I was 21 when it really started showing. I had symptoms of it when I was a teenager and a kid. I had symptoms. I was diagnosed as a kid as well. And then as a teenager, I had symptoms of it. I tried to hide it because I didn't want to be diagnosed something worse than I already had. I was like, no, I don't want to be that. And then as an adult, it really, I don't know what the word is. It really came out. And, it slowly creeped up, and I was about 21 when it started, and I didn't know I was in a different reality. But when I started to notice that there was something off, that's when I was like, oh my God, I do have schizophrenia. And I knew it. I had a feeling. I'd studied mental illnesses for a long time before that as well. But then it took my doctors, oh God, until I was like 27, 28 to finally diagnose me that I was schizophrenic. So it took a while. It was around that time frame. All right, so I thought that I'd go over a myth. It's kind of an interesting fact about schizophrenia that people tend to believe, and I thought that this was kind of an interesting one. People with schizophrenia aren't smart, so it's a myth. Some studies have found that people with the condition have more trouble on tests of mental skills such as attention, learning, and memory. But that doesn't mean they are not intelligent. Many creative and smart people throughout history have had schizophrenia, such as Russian ballet dancer Vaslav Nijinsky and Nobel Prize-winning mathematician John Nash. Scientists are even looking into links between genes that may be related to both psychosis and creativity. So they do believe there is a link that people with schizophrenia are actually very intelligent and creative. So those are all the fun facts that I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I might do this again. Hopefully I can find some more great facts that you may not know. I did try to find things that you guys may not already know, even if you may know some of the facts about it, but there are certain things that you may not have known about that fact. And I did find some really interesting facts that you may not have already known. I mean, abnormal fingerprints, I don't think that I would have ever have guessed that. I don't think I've ever been told that before either, but that was an interesting fact that I found out. I know that a lot of these are based on studies, but I do want you guys to be aware that anything in science, they never call it a fact. And here is the reason why. And I learned this in my psychology class, as a matter of fact. They don't identify it as a fact because science can always prove that fact differently. There's more things that can be added to that fact. There's more things that can be proven along that. And a lot of studies are based on certain amounts of people, not everyone as the whole. And they use those people as an identifier for the rest of the world. But that doesn't mean that you fall into that category. If that makes sense, I hope you guys understand. Fact is not something that science uses as a term. So there is no such thing as fact if you think about it. So it is all up to what you interpret it as. Perception is key. So if you guys have anything else that you want me to talk about, please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your guys' insights on what you feel like I should discuss, because I would love to cater this to you guys. I've been doing mainly what I find interesting, and I want to make sure you guys find it interesting as well. And if you guys want to tell your story on my channel, I would love to give you that opportunity. Send me a message on my Instagram or my Twitter. You can find those in my bio on my channel. You can, I was going to say, you can keep that anonymous if you would like. I do not have to use your name, and you can do it in a video or you can send me in writing. So either one of those things, you guys, if you are up for it. Other than that, I think that is it for today. I hope you guys had fun watching this video. I hope you found some interesting things that you did not know about yourself before. I always love finding those kind of things. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Stay wonderful, stay beautiful, stay amazing, stay awesome, stay unique, stay you, and above all else, you guys, love yourselves. Peace and love.